What is it? I do like the fact, not talking to you, talking to the camera, I do like the fact that I'm using Paper Republic products to plan my Paper Republic shoot. Another 63, 64 pounds spent on paper. What are you doing? Today was all about doing the ecom part of a product shoot. So the stuff that goes on the website, that goes on the page that sells the product. So shooting in the studio, it's a couple of things to notice. The salon stand, tethered, flashes a control from the thing on top of the camera, all stuff that makes my life easier. Anything I can do that makes things easier. The geared head, just being able to like dial stuff in nice and easy. It's all sort of designed over the last few years. The zoom lens, yes, I could use prime and I could get technically better quality, but I get 99.9% of the quality that I need through this camera setup with this lens, and I get the versatility of 24 to 105. Don't mind that it's f4, because when am I ever shooting at even f4? It's 5.6, usually more like 10 or 11. So I'm not always the one behind the camera. Sometimes, my hands are needed, because we're not working on the kind of shoot here where you could have budgets, have some models come in to do the hand work. We're working to a pretty tight budget here. So it's me and Katie. Katie is often the one doing, what am I up to here? Trying to support this while trying to take the photo. The stuff we do to try and get the shot. I remember this bit, it just wasn't working. We were kind of like, if it was tilted, if it doesn't look like square and perfect and the light's hitting it completely right, it isn't premium, and these are premium products. So this is fun. This is just using a wind-up stool to get the right height for this shot, and then an apple box that I made myself, actually. And that thing, I've put this in black and white, actually, because this is a limited release colour and it's not out yet, so you'll just have to guess what colour this is. But that little plinth that it's on is 3D printed and then painted and then like flocked with that stuff that you see people use for like model railways, the grass on model railways. So it's like, it kind of reminds me of something from like if you brought like one of those sort of Super Mario games into the real world. This shot, I was just like, it looks terrible, what's wrong? And then I just moved the light to the other side and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what's wrong. Sometimes you it's wrong, but you just haven't seen it. Does that make sense? Like, it's quite obvious that there's something that's going wrong with the shot, but until it kind of clicks, it just doesn't make sense. So I found a door outside because I needed a wide table to take, to make the most of this wide backdrop that we've got. So I tend to shoot on these seamless, they're like 2.7 meter wide ones, just because it gives you a chance to sort of open up and do a wider angle shot. I do one in a little bit of the like two sort of wooden Christmas box things, and it's just really nice to be able to shoot wide and kind of close into your product and still be able to fill the back of the frame. That's the colour of green that we're working with there. So these are the Christmas boxes, and Katie's just like getting them set up. she's usually doing the sort of the organizational side and then some of the styling. I take over with the finishing touches and the styling, and I'm getting the camera set up and I'm setting up the lighting. That's how we work as a team. Yeah, so these guys, you might not see it until I show it on the screen, but one of the shots we did with them, I'm at 24mm and I'm super close in. I think that's the one there, and it just gives you a really nice perspective on the boxes, and you can't really do that without having plenty of background behind it, because otherwise you start relying on stuff like generative AI and stuff like that, and I really want to stay away from that as much as possible, apart from when I really need it. So this is the live view. The laptop's on a little trolley, and we're just able to move it around and see. I do have another big screen, a couple of big screens that we can use if we really want a big screen view of what we're doing. The salon stand, and you see here how easy it is. I just moved it down, I'm pushing it in, I'm like trying to get the right framing on this shot. This is going to be like a macro shot, and it's going to be portrait orientation, just showing off this little pen clip. And having this is a studio stand, it's just so much easier than a regular tripod. So much sturdier. Even this cheap one, which I say cheap one's like, I think these are new, maybe like £1,000. I picked this up at an auction for like 200. Well worth it. And this is kind of the last shot of the day. This is a very representative day of shooting for me in the studio, doing products, left to our own devices by the client, and just given a really detailed brief and shot list on monday.com is what I use with Paper Republic. And it's just about being creative, but being creative within the bounds that they set, the things that they need. Late finish today, so we set off to the studio around 12. I had to have some FedEx stuff picked up from the house. This is kind of how work goes for me. Sometimes you've got stuff to organise in the morning, you're not getting shooting until 12, especially with e-com stuff where it is, it's in the studio and the client's not present. You kind of manage your own time for it, which is great, but it also sometimes means late finishes like this, which means I'm sitting here recording this voiceover at 11 o'clock at night, trying to get this video done. I'd love to hear, like, if you've got any questions for me on this, because it's so hard to like nail down what will be helpful to people. And when I try and do top level stuff, so often I kind of like go off on a rant about like some minutiae of like the geared tripod head and why that's brilliant. But actually I've not even touched on some of the stuff that will help you yet. Some of the stuff that I remember doing a workshop years ago, and I was like, okay, so maybe we can talk about inverse square law today or something like that. One of those rules that's like, you kind of need to know it, but there's a lot you need to know before that. And, you just get people like sort of dumbfounded, and actually they just wanted to you to tell them how to turn on the camera, how to, focus it. And so, yeah, it'd be really interesting if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. If you've got this far, fucking hell, I owe you some answers. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.